The air outside was bitter and still as the sky darkened into a heavy gray, snow swirling lazily under flickering streetlights. Sarah gripped the steering wheel of her aging sedan, parked just outside a small, forgotten roadside motel, the kind of place people passed without noticing. The engine was off, and the silence inside the car was only broken by the soft, fussy sounds of her baby whimpering in the backseat. She stared at the glowing red neon sign that read, "Vacancy," its hum barely audible through the windshield. It buzzed like a reminder that yes, even rock bottom had a place to stay. With her heart pounding and a lump in her throat, Sarah reached into the back seat, scooping up her 6-month-old son, Micah. He was hungry, tired, just like her. She pressed her lips to his forehead, trying to hide the shakiness in her hands. Her wedding ring was gone. Her future, uncertain. Just yesterday, she'd been in a courtroom, signing away her marriage with a pen that felt heavier than her entire world. She hadn't cried then, not in front of him, not in front of the judge. But now, as she stepped out into the snow, holding her baby against her chest, the tears threatened to spill. She walked into the motel office, a bell above the door jingling weakly. The clerk barely looked up, sliding a key across the counter after she mumbled something about one night and no cash for anything fancy. He gave her room 6. Didn't even ask for ID. The room was small, dimly lit, with peeling wallpaper and a stale smell of old cigarettes and cheap cologne. But it was warm. That was enough. Sarah sat on the edge of the bed and exhaled slowly, her muscles aching from exhaustion. She placed Micah down on a makeshift blanket pile and rocked him softly, singing a lullaby through cracked lips. Her voice was hoarse, but the sound soothed him. She wished someone would sing to her too. As she leaned back against the worn headboard, she noticed something odd: music. Faint. Distant. No, not distant. Next door, someone was playing a guitar. Slow, soft, almost hesitant. Not professional, just honest. She closed her eyes, letting the sound seep into her bones. There were no words to the song, just a melody that felt familiar in a way she couldn't explain. It didn't fix anything. It didn't feed her child or erase the past 24 hours. But for a fleeting moment, she didn't feel so entirely shattered. Micah was asleep now, his tiny chest rising and falling peacefully against her arm. Sarah looked around the room. The wallpaper might have been ugly, the sheets might have been scratchy, but for tonight, this was their shelter. Their new beginning. She didn't know who was on the other side of the wall, didn't know that the quiet man playing guitar in room 7 was more than just a stranger. She didn't know that in the middle of her unraveling life, something, or someone, was about to start stitching her back together. Not yet. For now, she only knew that her baby was safe. The storm was outside, and music was playing softly through the walls like a secret waiting to be discovered. The room had gone cold again. The ancient heater under the window rattled but pushed out only a faint stream of lukewarm air. Sarah sat hunched on the edge of the creaky bed, wrapped in her thin sweater, her baby's cries slicing through the silence like sharp glass. Micah's face was red, his tiny fists clenched in distress. She had tried everything, rocking, singing, pacing, but nothing was working. The formula she'd managed to buy earlier had spilled when the cap came loose in the diaper bag. The tiny bottle now sat empty on the table, and the vending machine down the hall offered nothing but soda and stale chips. She felt helpless, ashamed, like a failure. Her fingers trembled as she clutched Micah to her chest, his cries muffled against her shoulder. She fought back tears, biting her lip hard. She couldn't fall apart now. Not with him watching, not with his needs depending entirely on her. A sudden knock at the door made her freeze. 3 soft taps, then silence. Her heart leapt into her throat. She tightened her hold on Micah and tiptoed to the door, peeking through the dusty peephole. A man stood there, about her age, his hood pulled up over his head, a soft scruff on his jaw, hands held casually in his jacket pockets. He wasn't smiling, but he didn't look threatening either, more cautious. Familiar, even. "Who is it?" she asked, her voice tight. He took a small step back and spoke gently. "Hey, sorry to bother you. I'm in room 7 next door. I've heard your little one crying a while, and he hesitated, "I've got some formula. Leftover cans. My niece used to stay with me. Thought maybe you could use one." Sarah didn't respond right away. She was torn between suspicion and desperation. How could she trust a stranger? But how could she not, when her baby needed food, and she had none? After a long pause, she unlocked the door, keeping the chain on, and opened it just a few inches. The man reached into a plastic grocery bag and held out a sealed can of formula and a fresh bottle. His expression was calm and patient, not pushy. "It's unopened. I promise. No weirdness. I just figured, I've been there." Sarah looked into his eyes. They were tired, like hers, but kind. Real. She opened the door a little wider and accepted the items, her voice almost a whisper. "Thank you." He nodded. "No problem. I'm James. Room 7. He took a step back, giving her space. "If you need anything else, just knock." She nodded slowly, the words lodged in her throat. As she closed the door and locked it again, a strange warmth bloomed in her chest. Not just from the gift, but from the way he had looked at her. Not with pity, not judgment, just understanding. She mixed the formula with shaking hands and fed Micah, who latched on hungrily. His cries softened, his body relaxed in her arms. Sarah leaned back on the bed, exhaling deeply. She wrapped the clean blanket that James had also offered around her baby and rested her cheek against his soft hair. For the first time in what felt like forever, her body stopped bracing for the next disaster. It was still just a cheap motel. She was still a newly single mom with no plan. But there was something different now, just a glimmer. The sound of a gentle knock. The offer of help without a price. Kindness from a stranger when she needed it most.